Life is a highway. Don't go too soon. Stay focused. Today I'm here to persuade you to reevaluate your driving habits by presenting the effects of driving while distracted. We can all relate to a time where we were driving and were not completely focused on the road. Distracted driving is a leading cause of motor vehicle accidents. By driving two and two hands on the wheel, two eyes on the road, we can hope to avoid many more accidents in our society in the future. It was 8:45 on Monday morning, and Sarah was already late for work and still had to drop her daughter off at daycare. Once she finally got everything together and her daughter in the car, she knew she wouldn't make it to work on time. As she pulled out of the driveway, she dialed the number to work to tell them she would be running a little behind that morning. While hanging up the phone, she dropped it between the seat and the console in her vehicle. As she was crossing over a bridge, she looked away from the road to try and grab her phone. She lost control of the vehicle and swerved off of the bridge. Hours later, her husband received a phone call from the babysitter saying his wife and daughter hadn't arrived that morning. Concerned, he called his wife's place of employment to ask if everything was okay. To his surprise, his wife had never made it into work, and they had been trying to reach her all morning. This is when he called the police. Late that night is when they found Sarah's vehicle at the bottom of the river. She had driven off of the bridge, and no one was even aware for the entire day. All of this is the result of her being distracted and not implementing the two and two rule. The information in this speech is being presented to you in all drivers in hopes of to make you aware of your surroundings and to see the potential dangers of driving distracted. I myself am credible to this subject because I personally have been involved in a situation that resulted from distracted driving. First, we will discuss how distracted driving can affect the lives of those around you. Second, we will examine the increase of distracted driving related accidents in recent years. Lastly, I will provide you with alternate ways to avoid taking the risk of driving distracted. In the days we live in, it seems that the next post on social media is way more important than life itself. It is more important than the effect that it can have on our own lives, the damage that it can cause to our friends, our homes, and our communities, and also the impact that it can create for innocent victims of distracted drivers. So what is distracted driving? There are a multitude of things that can be considered distracted driving, whether it's something as simple as changing the radio station or something as dangerous as texting and driving. Taking your focus off of the road for even a second can cause you to pay the ultimate price. Distracted driving not only affects teens and new drivers, but it can even affect the most experienced and mature drivers. From ages 16 to 70, distracted driving is a huge issue, not only in our hometown communities, but is as far widespread throughout America and even in other countries as far away as Canada. When people drive distracted, there can be severe consequences. Not only can they end up injuring themselves, damaging their own vehicles, and having medical bills and insurance catastrophes, they could also face the lifetime regret of injuring or killing another innocent person. A person could also face legal problems that could last forever, including fines, jail time, restitution, and worst of all, vehicular homicide. I'm going to show you a few distractions that could be considered distracted driving while driving. A cell phone. A cell phone is one of the leading causes of wrecks and injuries in teens today. They think that texting and social media is way more important than just putting the phone aside and driving. As of December 2013, 153.3 billion text messages were sent in the United States. In 2013, 3,154 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. That's a 6.7 decrease in fatalities of 2012, and also an increase of approximately 3,000 people injured. This chart shows that there's at least a 29.4% of distractions outside of the car and many other distractions, including the radio, like adjusting, smoking, eating and drinking, and unknown other distractions is one of the leading causes with a 30.8%. 5 seconds is the average time our eyes are off of the road while texting. While traveling at 55 miles per hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. A quarter of teens respond to a text message once or more every time they drive. 20% of teens and 10% of parents admit they have extended multi-message text message convention while driving. With advancing technology, distracted driving has become more and more tempting throughout the years. When you drive past a person, you may notice that they are not fully focused on the road ahead. They could be texting, refreshing social media, or even just changing the radio station. This problem still exists because it's fairly a new issue since technology is increasing and social networking has only been around for the past decade. Another reason distracted driving still exists is because not enough people are affected personally, or they may think that they are capable of multitasking while driving. Causes of distracted driving may include adjusting a radio, CD player, or MP3 player, watching a video, eating and drinking, and talking to passengers. Now that we've reviewed the statistics, facts, and risks of driving distracted, we will now move on to suggesting ways to solve the distractions of distracted driving. Although there are state, federal, and local laws that have been placed into effect to ban the use of cell phones while driving, which still don't cover the other distractions such as eating and drinking, talking to passengers, and using navigational tools. There are many solutions for the distractions that we use while driving. In lieu of eating and drinking while driving, eat inside of the restaurant and save your food until you get home. By replacing your iPad, tablet, or cellular device with a hands-free Bluetooth device for travel, we can make a huge improvement in the amount of distraction caused by navigational devices. Built-in vehicular Bluetooth with maps, Bluetooth neck devices with mic, for example. If a person is without a hands-free Bluetooth device, they can turn off their phone or place their phone on airplane mode, so this way no calls or text messages will be coming in while they are driving, and it will be less tempting to answer those text messages. To avoid being distracted by grooming, leave all grooming items at home. If someone must take their grooming items for purposes, put them in the trunk of the vehicle to avoid looking or touching them. Instead of brushing my hair while I'm driving or finish putting on my makeup, I can do it when I get there, or I can just put this in the back seat out of sight. Driving 2 and 2 will be up to each individual person who is in charge of a motorized vehicle. To carry out this plan, people will have to be ever conscious of their driving habits. Implementing these steps while researching studies of distracted driving, I myself have tried each of the solutions listed above to become a 2 and 2 driver. These steps do work. I would suggest each person be aware of the alternatives to eating, grooming, texting, or driving while driving. People could write their local congressman or representative asking for tougher laws against not only texting while driving, but also other distractions. If people make sure they're always driving 2 and 2, 2 hands on the wheel, 2 eyes on the road, so that accidents, injuries, and fatalities could be avoided. This is very important, and everyone should take the 2 and 2 rule seriously and drive cautiously. We can all relate to a time where we were driving and were not completely focused on the road. Distracted driving is a leading cause of motor vehicle accidents. By driving 2 and 2, 2 hands on the wheel, 2 eyes on the road, we can hope to avoid many more accidents in our society in the future. We've discussed how driving distracted affects the lives of those around you. We then examine the statistics and facts surrounding the issue of distracted drivers. And lastly, I provided you with alternate ways to avoid being a distracted driver. If people make sure they're always driving 2 and 2, 2 hands on the wheel, 2 eyes on the road, so many accidents, injuries, and fatalities could be avoided. This is very important, and everyone should take the 2 and 2 rules seriously and responsibly. One wrong move in a vehicle can not only change your life forever, but your friends, families, and most importantly, innocent victims and their loved ones. This can happen to anyone at any time. It is extremely important that you implement the 2 and 2 rule at all times. By doing so, you will be doing your part in saving lives. Together, we can spread the word about 2 and 2 and get others involved. Please, help me save lives with 2 and 2. So before you make that quick call, before you pick up the phone to answer that text, think of Sarah's husband who lost his precious wife and daughter to something as senseless as distracted driving. You don't want to be that person, so drive 2 and 2.